everyone. Welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today, we're talking about why your perfectionism is sabotaging your weight loss. This is such an important conversation because it really gets to the heart of why so many people struggle to lose weight. And the diet industry really capitalizes on this because your entire life, you have been trained that in order to lose weight, you need to start day one being perfect, and you need to ride that perfection out until you reach your goal weight. And this is subconsciously how you think about weight loss. And while other areas of your life, you may be a perfectionist and you thrive, work, family, school, when it comes to weight, it doesn't work. And it doesn't work because there's just too much going on with it. And you cannot be perfect. It's literally impossible. You can't be perfect. And this may be a hard pill to swallow, but it's an important one because once you realize that you can't be perfect, you step into reality and you step out of fantasy land. The diet industry is trying to keep you in fantasy land because it supports their business model of repeat customers and people that consume a lot of food, which is because all the diets are owned by big food companies. Weight Watchers was owned by Heinz. Jenny Craig was owned by Nestle. Slim Fast is owned by the same company as Ben & Jerry's ice cream. So these companies don't want you to lose weight. They want to get you excited for a little while, get you focused, do some stuff for a little bit, and then go back to what you always do. Then come back again and repeat the same thing. So there's a big reason why they're always teaching you to be perfectionists because it doesn't work, and that's what they want. So that being said, your whole weight loss history has probably looked like this, that you get fired up, excited. You're going to do this. You're going to do it perfect. Because when you do things, you do them big, go big or go home, right? So if I'm going to do it, I'm going to really do it. So you start your plan perfectly. You cut the calories down. You eat perfect. You stop snacking. You stop overeating. You start working out. You start doing everything perfect right on day one. And then you try and keep that perfection going for as long as you can. And it starts to feel like an endurance test. It feels like, how long can I keep this going? And no one can keep it going forever. So at some point, usually within the week, you make a mistake. Now, it's not unusual for someone to eat perfectly for 5 straight days, get to the 6th day and eat a cookie. And now all of a sudden, everything crumbles. And this has probably been your experience, that you're perfect, little mistake, done. Perfect, little mistake, done. And you have probably repeated this process tens, hundreds of times in your life. And so you have to realize that there is no perfection here because the perfection model is built on a giant lie. And the lie is that for you to lose weight, you just need to be told what to do. And then you'll just force yourself to do it with your willpower. And that is a big old bunch of bullshit because the truth is that you do not know how to live like a thin, healthy person. You don't know how to eat like a thin, healthy person. You don't know how to live like a thin, healthy person. And you do not know how to think like a thin, healthy person. So losing weight is much more like learning a skill, like learning a musical instrument, learning a language, learning how to dance or draw. And if you started with any of those things, you couldn't start off being perfect because you start off where you're at and you gradually get better and improve and grow and evolve. But with weight loss, you've been conditioned your whole life that all you need is the magical plan. And if you get the magical plan, that's all you need. You'll just follow it perfectly. No, you won't, because there's way more to this process than just having a plan that you're going to follow. And this diet model is just absolutely like catnip to perfectionists. Because why not? Who wouldn't want to just need a plan and then just follow it and then get amazing results? So seductive, so appealing, but so ineffective. And you say, no, Jim, I know I can do it. It's the refrain of the dieter that I know, no, Jim, I know what I got to do. I just got to get myself to do it. The dieter says for 50 years while they remain overweight. But the truth is you need to learn how to do it. And you cannot be perfect and learn at the same time. So you got to be in one camp or the other. And by thinking that you're going to be perfect, anytime you make a mistake, it feels catastrophic. It feels like you blew it. But I can tell you in Program Yourself Thin, we celebrate mistakes because it's through your mistakes that you're able to grow and evolve. Just like any other area in your life where you've gotten better at something, riding a bike. Did you just get on the bike and ride it because you read a book about it? Did someone teach you how to drive a car? You just read a book on it. You got in a car, drove it perfectly. Someone said, "Oh, you computer mouse? Yeah, just use it like this, move it like that." And you just grab the computer mouse, used it perfectly. No, there's nothing in your life that you have done behaviorally, been told how to do, and could just do it perfectly. You have to learn it. And your eating is no different. And this is the core issue so many people fall into because they think it's a willpower problem. And it's not, it's a knowledge problem. And you cannot be perfect when you're learning something. It doesn't go together. And so let me paint you a picture of what real weight mastery looks like. It's you not starting on Monday being 100% perfect. It's you starting on Monday doing what you typically do, but being a little bit better. Focusing on improving your breakfast, drinking a little more water, working on your worst eating habit, going to bed that night, reflecting on what you did that day, thinking about it, thinking about how you could improve it, going to sleep, and getting better on the next day too. And you keep repeating this process and programming yourself in. It's the 1% better a day philosophy. Dieting and perfectionism is about 100% better philosophy. Sunday, you're not good at eating and you're overweight. Monday comes and you're magically perfect eater. It makes no sense when you put it in this context. And this is what you've experienced every time. You can do it for a little while, and then you fall back into your what? Your old behaviors. Because that's not any strategic way to change your behavior, just all of a sudden be perfect. It doesn't account for your mindset, doesn't account for your environment, doesn't account for your lifestyle, doesn't account for your eating habits that you have had your whole life usually. So perfectionism is pretty much the fastest way to fail at losing weight. And I will tell you one last thing about perfectionism is that it is tricky because a lot of people are very smug with the perfectionism where they will say, well, when I do things, I do it all the way. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right. While they spend years, decades, their life being overweight. So if you are a perfectionist who's overweight and have been for a while, stop talking like that and start talking like someone who needs to just start where you're at and get a little bit better. And then tomorrow get a little bit better on top of that. And then the next day get a little bit better. Let that be your version of perfectionism, that you'll be perfect at getting 1% better each day. Because the idea that you're going to just instantly in one day be perfect and 100% better makes no sense. And your results prove that. And if you want to figure out a better way to go about this, click the link in my bio, get the hypnosis session, watch the video I make for you, and start walking a different path so you can get better results. You deserve it. So I hope this all helps you out. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. Hope have a nice Friday. Evenlate, if I'm saying that right. When is it when you can gain weight on your stomach fast and you can lose it just as quickly? What is it when you can gain weight on your stomach fast and lose it just as quickly? I mean, there's no such thing as spot reduction. However, people are built different. And so it is true that some people, when they lose weight, it'll show up in their stomach more. You know what I mean? Than other people. Some people might be in their legs or in their butt or whatever. And you might be a fast, some people lose weight quick, some people lose weight slow. So maybe you're a person who stores a lot of fat on their stomach and you lose weight quick and slow. That's what that is. And you lose weight when you eat less and you put weight on when you eat more. So that's what's going on there. Hey, what's up, Mario? I was just thinking about you. Lana says, good way to put it. Thank you. Hey, hello from Portugal. All right. Nice. So crazy. Every day it's always different people. The internet's amazing. It's I get people all around the world. It's really cool. Yep. It's a nice day in Portugal. It's a nice day here. Mario says, how can I make sure I'm in a deficit if I'm not counting calories? That's a good question. And in Program Yourself, then I think, we got to take account of this because counting calories without question is the most accurate way to lose weight quickly. There's no doubt about that. But for most people, it causes a lot of stress and strain cognitively, emotionally, mentally. So in Program Yourself, then what we do is we structure our eating. so that we're eating consistently. Now, we got clean days and pleasure days, but they're both structured. And the goal is to start to have some consistency in the eating. And you add as much variety as you need. Okay. For me, one of my superpowers is I don't need a lot of variety. So I'm able to be very consistent, which helps me because I'm able to reduce my, I knew where I started and I was relatively consistent with that. And then I started cutting things out of that to get to me where I wanted to be. So I always know that when I hear the word deficit, that you're thinking like a dieter and you want to cut a relatively dramatic amount of calories out so you can lose weight quickly. And so what I'm saying doesn't make a lot of sense because I'm not talking about deficits. Deficits is the shit. Again, the people that say it's just semantics make me crazy, but everything to me is words. And I think the words being in a caloric deficit is not the words you want because deficit implies it's going to be temporary. No one wants to live their life in a deficit. So I always frame this instead as being that we want to reduce your average calorie consumption because that languaging is more focused on the future and what your real goal is which is to live at your goal weight. The word of a calorie deficit is part of dieting words, and dieting words are all about losing weight. And then what? Well, fuck it. I'll figure it out. Right. All you dieters are going to figure out how to keep the weight off once you lose it. Right. Even though you've lost weight numerous times and then put the weight back on. So that is one of the deepest trances dieters find themselves in, is that they treat the maintenance piece as an afterthought. And it's weird because you've put the weight back on so many times. It's strange that you wouldn't start to take that a little more seriously and program yourself in on day one. We start with maintenance. The whole program's about maintenance. That's all I care about. I don't give a fuck if you lose 20 pounds in a week. I don't care. Not impressed by that. What I care about is how long you keep the 20 pounds off for. And I would suggest you start thinking like that too. If you actually would like to keep the weight off, unless you're one of these people that loves to lose weight and put it back on and lose it, and put it back on. I think some people are addicted to that personally. I think they get off on that. So I'm not judging. If that's what you like to do, keep doing what you're doing. But if you would like to lose weight and keep it off, I wouldn't use the word deficit. I don't want to be in a calorie deficit for the rest of my life. Ooh. I reduce my average calorie consumption. I now live at a new level that keeps me at the weight I want to be at. That feels nice. So, how do you make sure you're in a calorie deficit? Again, that's diet language. Counting calories is diet language. You're not going to count calories forever. You're not going to be in a deficit forever. And it reveals a core problem of your mindset, Mario, is that you keep thinking about weight loss. You keep thinking about losing weight. And that's the problem all you have if you're overweight is the diet industry has programmed you and conditioned you, brainwashed you to focus on weight loss. When the reality is you don't want to lose weight. Your real goal is to live at your goal weight. They're two totally different things. So anyways, though, but if you're talking about how do I lower my calories, you start making your eating more consistent. And once you get your eating to be more consistent week to week, then you can start to see where your weight ends up. And once your eating's consistent and your weight starts to consistently be the same level, then you can look at your consistent eating and you can say, okay, where would be the easiest calories for me to cut down? Cut them out. See what happens to your weight. It goes down. Was that enough to get to my goal weight? No. Okay, well, let me look at my consistent eating. What else can I slice down to get my average calorie consumption down to my goal weight? I hope that makes sense. What's up, X? On Instagram says, hey, Jim, are you on any type of diet like keto, low carb, carnivore, anything? Oh, no. I lost 50 pounds over 30 years ago, and I have kept that weight off for 30 years. And I want you all to be impressed by that. Not the 50-pound weight loss, but the fact that I've maintained it for 30 years. I had one blip 13 years ago. In that time, I have not dieted once. I have not exercised in any consistent way. I do yoga, but it's the most gentle yoga ever. So I have mastered my weight by mastering my eating. And so, no, I have not done any type of dieting. I think keto is a ridiculous diet. I think carnivore is even dumber. I think carnivore is the peak of dumb diets. And I think it's an interesting psychological reference point for how easily people can be manipulated and tricked. And you're seeing it now. And low carb, yeah, so keto, low carb, carnivore, they're all kind of the same thing, right? And there's a reason why that shit's popular, because meat is a big profit center. And so protein, meat, of course, those diets are going to get extra shine in the society because there's a lot of money made off of them. But if there was a diet I followed, it would be whole foods, plant-based. I am a pescatarian, you know? But the more whole foods, plant-based foods you eat, the easier it is to control your weight, without question. Fiber is the number one thing missing from the standard American diet. Fiber is more satisfying and satiating than protein. So if you struggle with hunger, if you struggle with food noise, I almost can guarantee you that you're not consuming much fiber in the form of fruits, vegetables, greens, beans, whole grains. So Dulker says, is it okay to eat whatever but stay in calorie deficit? I lost 25 kilograms counting my calories. Yeah, of course. You could eat whatever you want and just stay in a calorie deficit. I mean, your weight really is a reflection of your calorie consumption primarily. And you could eat whatever you want. I mean, the person who did the McDonald's diet, and if you kept your calories low, you'd still lose weight. However, in the real world, there's a difference. Again, folks, you've got to make a distinction between the weight loss phase and the maintenance phase. The biggest difference between this, sit down for a second. Uncle Jim's about to teach you something. There's a huge difference between the weight loss phase and the maintenance phase. Do you know what the big difference is? I really need you to think about this for a second, because this is the reason that you struggle more than anything else. And it goes right by you. What do you think the big difference is between the weight loss phase and the maintenance phase? It's not a trick question. It's so fucking obvious. It might be too obvious. Maybe that makes it tricky. I don't know. The big difference between the weight loss phase and the maintenance phase is that when you're in the maintenance phase, you're not losing weight anymore. And so you don't have the excitement of the weight loss anymore. Most dieters will trade the pleasure of the food for the pleasure and excitement of the scale going down. And now we get down to our maintenance level, and where's your excitement coming from? What, just being at your goal weight? Have you ever heard of hedonic adaptation? You're going to habituate and normalize to your weight. It'll be exciting for a couple months. It'll be fun hearing everyone talk about it for a couple months. And then no one's going to say shit. It's just going to be your normal body, and you're still going to have to deal with life. And so now how are you going to motivate yourself to count every calorie you eat? Now, how do you motivate yourself to not eat a carb? Now, how do you motivate yourself to not eat for 16 hours? Because you don't have that weight loss to look forward to. I think most people don't realize just how powerful that is, because literally what you're doing is you're tapping into dopamine. Dopamine is the big chemical in your brain that drives your behavior. And usually your dopamine's attached to food. You're always looking to the next food, and that's exciting and drives you. And what dieters do is they trade that excitement for the excitement of watching the scale go down. Well, what do you do when that goes away too? Now you don't have the food, you don't have the diet. Oh God. So yeah, you could eat whatever you want in a calorie deficit when you're counting calories and you're excited to lose weight. But what happens when you get to your goal weight and you're not as excited anymore? A, it's going to be harder to count calories, and B, it's going to be harder to eat in a calorie deficit when you're eating the wrong foods. What are the wrong foods? The wrong foods, in a nutshell, are basically processed foods, because processed foods are made by companies that make money off of you eating their food. So the more their food you eat, the more money they make. Now they engineer these foods. These foods are not fucking designed in a kitchen with chefs. These foods are designed in labs with chemists and neurologists. So you're not going to be able to eat processed foods in the form of junk food stuff, fast food stuff, processed food stuff, and master your weight most likely, because it's designed to make you hungry all the time, and it's very calorie dense. So in a technical sense, yeah, you could eat anything and be in a calorie deficit and lose weight. But in the real world, that takes a tremendous amount of focus and energy to maintain that and do it. And most people are not going to do it. 95 to 98% of dieters put the weight back on that they lose. This is the part no one talks about. And this is the part that makes me almost go insane. I mean, like, I have to fight for my sanity doing this every day. I was thinking this today. I'm like, again, I get on here every day, Monday through Friday, just for free, because I just feel like it's my duty, like in life, like literally. I literally was thinking this because I was talking to someone today, a fellow entrepreneur. You know, I run my own business. And he's like, what? Cause like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, but, and I get on here and it's like, I could just literally, I just live in my world where I just work with the people that know my philosophy, buy into it, and I just live in that world. But I step into the normal world to try and let you all know, because this is so important. My dad died of a heart attack at 54, so it informs everything I do. Weight to me is life and death, and so I get out here to try and wave the flag that there's a better way. But as I always say, the hardest part for me is that no one believes me, because most people are so brainwashed. They can't. But yeah, technically you could eat anything, but in the real world, it's not going to last usually for most people. But nice job losing 25 pounds, or 25 kilograms even. Wow, nice job. X says, thank you so much for the live streaming. You're so kind and helpful. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Dolger says, what's your profession? If you don't mind me asking, your video motivates me. Well, great. Yeah. My profession. What am I? I'm a certified master hypnotist, an NLP trainer, a yoga instructor, a certified strategic coach. But ultimately, I'm the creator of Program Yourself Thin. I am a weight mastery trainer, coach. That's how I define myself. My kind of the work of my life is Program Yourself Thin. And I deliver that program through, it is a program, like a home study program. And I coach people and I help people, get a handle of their mindset, their lifestyle, and their eating, so that they can live as a thin, healthy person for the rest of their lives. Makes us think as much. Agree that I eat some protein with lots of veggies, keep me full for hours. Yes, absolutely. That's the secret. Yep. There are foods that keep us eating more and more that feel very thirsty. Yes, exactly. Because there's no water in processed foods. And they're designed to make you hungry all the time. Anyways, let me get to TikTok for a second. I see some questions coming over through on YouTube. Oops, shit. Oh, sent an invitation. All right. Melancholy Green, how's it going? Deficit is a negative word and feels like lack or scarcity. It's a word that makes me feel less in control. Reduction feels more in control to me, like a choice. Yeah, exactly. And again, I like to say, I'll give this to you, is I want to reduce my average calorie consumption. So the real focus is on average calorie consumption. And I'm up here and I want to live at a lower weight. So I'm going to reduce my average calorie consumption. So yeah, exactly. Melancholy. Words make a difference. What's up, Darlene? How's it going? Glad you caught this. Melancholy says, my mom always says maintenance is boring. I say maintenance is freedom. When losing weight is no longer your big effort focus because you're in maintenance, you're free to finally do other things. Right on the money, Melancholy. I agree. And again, at the same time, and I think you're exactly right, Melancholy, that because in what you said, and I'm just going to say it slightly different. In Program Yourself, then we take the weight loss and wrap it in personal development. And that piece of the puzzle is extremely important. You've got to wrap this in personal development because your weight gets very boring. It's very boring to just be at the same weight every day. Like, it's not exciting for me. There's nothing for me to look forward to on the scale. My scale is just the same weight it's been for 30 years, basically. Boring. Okay. So what am I getting motivated by? Right? I said we need to have something to look forward to. So the thing for me to look forward to is personal development things that are, interesting, exciting, and important to me in my life. And so the weight piece is kind of like the engine that drives me to be able to do all the other exciting, fun things in my life. And so I think you're right on the money, Melancholy. I think that framing is crucial. You've never gotten that framing from the diet industry, because the diet industry wants you to pretend they create this fantasy land that if you get to your goal weight, everything's just magically amazing. It's not. Again, dieting's not here to help you. It's here to take your money and fuck you over. Darlene says, I've had my weight for a number of years, though the program has reminded me not to freak out if there's a 4-pound fluctuation. It can be a matter of digestion, extra water weight, etc. That's great. Yeah. So I think that's such an important point, Darlene. Darlene's in the program. And so, yeah, you can hold your weight, which is that's a big accomplishment. So again, anyone that's at the weight they want, congratulations. But there's holding your weight, and there's holding your weight in a way that feels relatively easy and automatic and fills you with lots of, good feelings and happiness. So again, we demand more. I think, even on diets, when people evaluate a diet, the main evaluation is, can I, will I lose weight? And people don't look to see if, it's, is it a miserable process? Because the miserable process, stick with it. Yeah. Hey, Georgina. Yep. I appreciate you do these lives. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Uncle says, I want to finally know what life on the other side looks like. What can life be like without the obsession over weight, food, and size? Who am I underneath a diet cloud? Exactly, melancholy. I love that description because there's so much more to that than just, I just want to get to my goal weight. I just want to get to my goal weight. And a lot of people talk like that because, again, you've been conditioned to think like that by the diets. And it's just not enough. It's not enough motivation. People a lot of times don't believe that, but it's very true. Oh, look at that. Instagram froze up. But if they rewatch this, I'll answer their question. Yeah. Thanks for answering my question, Jim. Can you give us some insight into what your diet looks like? Yeah, my diet is just very, very whole, natural food based. So I eat a lot. I eat a plant based diet. So a lot of carbs, not refined carbs, but carbs, whole foods, fruits, vegetables, beans, things like that. Occasional fish. Yeah, that's kind of what I do. Any other questions over TikTok? And if not, hey, there's Lisa Jez. What you're saying might be true, but then why is it people lose weight when they eat less carbohydrates? People lose weight when they eat less calories. So, when people listen, all the diets work to lose weight. I would never argue that. You could literally follow pretty much any diet that exists. And if you follow it long enough, you'll lose weight. So I'm not arguing that point. What I'm arguing is that you're not going to stick to your keto plan for long. But the problem isn't that people don't lose weight initially on a keto plan. The problem is that people don't seem to want to stay on a keto plan. And yeah, I went on a keto plan, I lost weight. So explain that to me. I ate less carbs. Yeah, well, whatever. You could have eaten less fat. You could have carb and there's a couple of reasons why the keto thing is so appealing to people. The big one is, first of all, just straight out, is that we live in an environment and a culture where there's tons and tons and tons of refined carbs. The number one source of calories for Americans is baked goods. And pizza's right following that, and bread. So, if you take a population where their main source of calories is refined carbs and you base a diet around getting rid of refined carbs, yeah, they're going to lose weight. But you could take the same American person and have them get rid of all the meat they eat, get rid of the cheese, get rid of the fucking vegetables, and just get your calories lower, and you're going to lose weight. You'll lose weight anytime you lower your calories. But if you look at a population whose main calorie source is refined carbs and say, oh, the diet is to get rid of refined carbs, well, yeah, most people are going to lose weight on it. But I mean, the big issue with keto, and again, I pretty much, most diets I can look at and say, I like certain pieces of it. So I can look at keto and say, yeah, clearly in America, there's a refined carb issue. You should if you're a typical American, if you started to focus on reducing flour consumption, you're probably going to lose weight. And I very intensely, part of my clean days is I look to reduce flour a lot. I don't want to eat flour at all, is my goal. So people lose weight no matter what if they're reducing calories, but it's not because of the carbs. If that makes sense. I don't know if it makes sense. What's up, Vicky? Oh, that's why I'm on TikTok now. Yeah. I don't know. I see someone still writing stuff. So I don't know. Maybe you can still hear me, but you just can't see me. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. It's annoying. Technology is so annoying. Good and bad, I suppose. Yeah. Happy Friday to you. Georgina says a lot of the weight with keto is due to water, not fat. Yes, that's absolutely true. I can easily drop 5 pounds if I don't eat much carbs for a few days, but that's stupid. It is. It just is. And again, I mean, dieting is built around short-term mindset. You know what I mean? Dolcar says, is gut health program effective for weight loss? I mean, I think, again, just once again, gut health, I think, is really helpful and valuable. But a lot of gut health I see is a bunch of bullshit because they want to sell you prebiotics, probiotics, and they want to sell you a bunch of products to get your gut health right. So again, I think there's absolutely some truth in the gut health paradigm. But what most diets do is they always make the diet about one thing. And I don't believe in that at all. I think you're going to need a comprehensive, holistic approach to master your weight. In Program Yourself Thin, we have a weight mastery pyramid: mindset, lifestyle, eating. And I think you need to build a comprehensive approach. So yeah, gut health's like out of the eating piece of my mastery pyramid. Oh, thanks, Karen. Out of the eating piece, right? Gut health is like 5% of my thinking. Refined carb awareness is part of it. Sugar awareness is part of it. Whole food awareness is part of it. Nutrient density is part of it. Nutrient variety is part of it. And it just goes on and on. But so it's not just one thing. That's my problem with all these things. So the gut health, it's like you just dive down just that one thing. Gut health alone is not apparent. It's to say like intermittent fasting is part of my thing, but it's not the whole thing. I mean, shit, keto. I mean, I'm part, like you could say I'm keto-ish in some ways. Very little ways, because keto's goofy. I don't know. I got to fucking argue with people about keto being stupid with people that aren't doing it. That's the crazy part to me. The keto people and / carnivore people, I hope you keto people at least. Oh God, the carnivore thing makes me nuts, but I don't know, whatever. I'm in a mood today, but, the keto thing, I mean, I can't tell you the number of arguments I've had with people arguing that keto works and they're not even on it. And that's my point. I know you'll lose weight on keto, but you're not going to stick with it. You've all tried keto at this point. Wait, why don't you believe me? That's what I mean. It's like it's a dieter delusion that you've done keto. You could try to do it 50 times. And I sit here and I say, well, keto doesn't work. And you say, well, that's not true. I lost 50 pounds on keto. Well, what's your weight now? Well, I couldn't stick with it, but it works. Well, if you can't stick with it, how the fuck is it working? What's your definition of working? It's different than mine. My definition of a plan that works is one that you're fucking doing. Is that not fair? I just don't get it, But again, it's just because people don't give a fuck. This is what I mean, the difference between weight loss and weight mastery. If all you care about is weight loss, then all you care about is when you're losing weight. And I know it sounds silly. Well, no kidding, Jim. That's what I want. Well, yeah, but it's like, if you keep having to lose weight, what's up, Kim? Kim says the thing that works is what is best suitable to you. Yeah, agreed. But the problem there is that no one's found out what's suitable for them, because 95% of dieters, 95 to 98% of dieters that lose weight on a diet put it back on. 75% of the population is overweight or obese, and that numbers are projected to be up to 90% within the next 10 years. So I know it sounds good to say like the plan that works is the one that works for you, but we're in an environment where it doesn't seem like anyone seems to know what that plan is. I was thinking this, I've been saying this recently, that we've had diets for say 100 years. There's not one diet that's proven to be effective for long-term weight loss. What would you say? What would you say the most effective diet is? You better fucking be on it if you say it, though. You better. Don't tell me about you lost 30 pounds on Weight Watchers 20 years ago. And Weight Watchers doesn't count anyways, because Weight Watchers is a diet. Weight Watchers, if you took away the social piece of Weight Watchers, do you know what I mean? Weight Watchers is a marketing company. It started off with great stuff, but the reason Weight Watchers is unique because it's a group. There's a social aspect to it. It's not really a diet. And you're finding that out because they're getting rid of the group shit more and more. And what are you left with? Counting calories. You know what I mean? In a different way. But you tell me, what diet you think works? What's the best diet? Like you say, the Mediterranean diet. That's a great diet. The DASH diet. And again, it doesn't even matter because all these diets, they all have good stuff about them. And I love Mediterranean diet. I think as a philosophy makes a lot of sense. you know? But again, the same problem always shows up is that you can be told what to do and you can know what to do, but can you get yourself to do it? You know? Carrie says the word diet's actually misused. Well, I agree with that in a sense too, because diet is it's really it's kind of like a noun. It's a description of how you eat. And diet has been turned into a verb. Is where you're going to actively do something. It's just you're not even built to diet. It's that's what makes me crazy about dieting. Dieting is a psychological operation against people. It's part of the beauty and food industry, and it's a psychological operation to keep you fat and overweight. I can't make it any more blatant and simple than that. And I work with really smart, intelligent people that struggle with their weight. Why? Because you've never learned how to live and eat and think like a thin and healthy person. In all your years of dieting, never have you been shown how to think, live, and eat like a thin and healthy person. And you wonder why you struggle with it. Well, there's an absence of knowledge. Nick says, rice makes me full so fast and hungry so fast. Yeah, well, again, it's probably the type of rice you're eating too. You know what I mean? Go eat some brown rice and see if that's the case. You know, and compare it to the white rice you're probably eating or the instant rice. You know, again, what food isn't even food anymore, and that's the big problem. The distinction, you know, if I could give people like one magical ability, if I could just like tap them on the head and give them an ability, it would be the ability to differentiate between food and food stuff internally. That would be what I would give people. If I could give everyone in the world one thing, it would be the instant ability to be able to see food versus food stuff. And that would be profound. Because we've been hypnotized and brainwashed to think of food stuff as food. And that's the core problem. Dilgar says, thanks, Jim. It's 1 a.m. in Perth. All right, I'm in Australia, so better sleep now. Keep motivating us. Most of the time, what you say hits home. Great. Most of the time. Yeah, fair enough, right? It can't be 100%, you know? I prefer rolled oats without sugar. Yeah, that sounds good. Melancholy says, when I do low carb or keto, I lose weight. I believe the reason I always quit is because I become nutrient deficient. Water loss is real, by the way, but so is nutrient loss. Yep. Plus, I really don't like the diet as a rule. I like low carb meals. Sometimes I just don't like the all or nothing crap keto and low carb bullies us into. I need healthy flexibility. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why in Programming Yourself Thin, Programming Yourself Thin is built on people that have lost weight and kept it off. And I think that's what makes it so unique, because all the diets are built on people that have lost weight fast, because that's what people want. But it's not really what people want, but it's what you've been conditioned to think you want. I've been talking about the beauty myth that I've been reading, and that's been a real eye opener to recognize that the weight loss industry really is a branch of the cosmetic and beauty industry. And it's like, I kind of always knew that, but I never really, really knew it until I read this book. And it's been very enlightening for me. I just perceive this whole thing so much differently. And, it's been profound. But anyways, I mean, like keto's stupid. And I don't know. I mean, all the diets are pretty stupid. One thing they do know for sure, I mean, I don't know if you all believe in this, you probably should, because this is describe what you've experienced, but the more rigid your diet is, the less likely it is to succeed. They've identified that. That's one of the key factors that's going to dictate the effectiveness of it. And keto is extremely rigid. So, and again, I agree that people consume on average way too much refined carbs. So I get it. You know what I mean? Lisa Jazz, is it a fact you need more protein when you are getting older? I do not believe that. I have had this argument multiple times with people I truly respect and care about. I don't buy it. And I don't buy it. I think there's a strong protein bias in this culture because there's a strong profit motive for fucking selling protein in the form of meat, protein powders, protein bars, protein supplements. It's just there's so much money being made off of protein. That's what I think. Because what society are you looking at and basing that on? Because what I always look at is the blue zones. And I know carnivore people, I got to look into it. I forget what they say, but I fuck them. You know what I mean? I haven't had it. You know what I mean? Like, listen, just because we're in the information age and everyone can just give you information doesn't mean all information is right. And so I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Let carnivore people say what they want to say. You're not a fucking carnivore. I'm not even, I don't have to be a biologist to know that I'm not a fucking carnivore. Have you ever seen a carnivore's digestive tract? It doesn't look like ours. I'll let you know that. You ever seen a carnivore's teeth? They don't look like this. You ever seen a carnivore's fucking claws? Because carnivores have the ability to rip shit open and eat it and be healthy from it because it passes through them quickly. I'm not saying we can't eat meat, by the way. I want to be crystal clear about that. We're omnivores. But we're not carnivores. And yet, carnivore is what? How the fuck is that even an option at this point? How do you think? What are you going to eat meat forever? That's all you're going to eat? And so the protein thing is so fucking ridiculous that it's gotten to the point that now people are just going to eat meat. And it's all based on bullshit. I mean, you're not a carnivore. I think we can all agree on that. The ketosis diet was something that was created for epileptics. What society are you looking at that's thriving in a ketosis-based diet? The Inuit? Because you know what they found out about the Inuit? They got a genetic adaptation that causes them to not go into ketosis. Uh-oh. Do you have the genetics that cause you not to go into ketosis so you can eat that way? Or do you have the genetics of a person that was raised on grains and fruits and vegetables and lots of fucking carbs? I bet that's your ancestry. I bet your ancestry is high carb diet, not high protein. So if we go back to the blue zones, and if you buy into that or not, they went to the 5 areas of the world that had the highest percentage of people living to 100 years old and studied what they ate. And guess what? You're never going to believe it. Not one of them had a high protein diet. Not one of them. All of them had similar diets because guess what? There was no high protein diets. A high protein diet isn't even natural. How are you going to get so much protein? We're just going to hunt all day long and eat animals all day long? What society lives like that? I'm not saying they're like, I'm sure there's one or two that live like that. But what big ass society lived that way? So, okay, so go back to the blue zones. And if you buy into it, I mean, these are big ass populations with high numbers of people living to 100 and living to 100 healthfully, by the way. They weren't people they were interviewing that were, living in a bed, can't move and just, barely living. They were people living active lives at 100 years old. Hey, what'd you eat? Oh, we eat a lot of beans, a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, a lot of rice, a lot of grain, a little bit of meat. So they all got older. Yeah, there you go, Lisa, right? You read that book. Did they fall apart? Because again, that's the idea. And I have to, what do you think I'm going to do? I don't eat a lot of protein. Maybe I'll crumble into dust when I turn 70. I don't know. I don't see any reason why that would happen. What I'm trying to say with the protein is that it goes so far. I hope you all don't think you're going to be carnivores. And you know what? If you do think you're going to be a carnivore, go ahead, knock yourself out. Knock yourself out. Go eat meat and see how long you can do that for. Notice how you feel. And then once you realize you feel like shit and you come back from this, reflect on that. And that's just an example of how fully we can be manipulated and deceived with protein. And carnivore just takes it to the absolute peak. But I think protein's way overstated. So that's my thoughts. But hey, we're all allowed to have our thoughts. Yeah. He says, no, you'll be kicking ass. I think so. What's up, Janet? Janet says, why so many F-bombs at the turnoff? Yeah. I try to keep them to a minimum, but sometimes I can't help it. Joshua says, one of my goals is to eat at least 1 serving each day of flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds. Great. Yeah, notice how you feel. The reason that certain foods are called health foods is because you eat them for health, not pleasure. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I think that's a great distinction too, like the difference between, that's again, in Program Yourself, then we have clean days, pleasure days. So I think there's a place for pleasure days and I think it's important. but I think there's also a necessity for clean days, and eating food for health as well. Lisa says, I've noticed in the Asian community, they eat plenty of rice. It's rare that you see obesity. Yeah. Now, by the way, it was rare that you saw obesity in the Asian communities, and it's coming. So get ready. China's rates of obesity and type 2 diabetes. As a matter of fact, China has the most obese people in the world. Did you know that? But yeah, their rates are going up. Why? Because they're importing a westernized diet. So, again, you have to understand, like, we live in corporate America. We live in a corporatized world. Everything that we're being told is always based on money. And the big money, one of the biggest profit centers in the world is you being overweight, unhealthy, unhappy. You consume lots of food, you consume lots of diet and health products to try and fix that food you're eating. You consume lots of products to try and get yourself happier because you feel like shit from what you're eating and how you're living. And then you consume lots of medical products in order to deal with all the health issues and mental and emotional issues. So everything's always within that thing. So again, protein is promoted so hard because it's always promoted with products. Expensive meat, expensive shakes, expensive bars, expensive powders. And there's not as much money to be made off of hawking vegetables and fruits and greens. So again, the idea that healthy food's more expensive is bullshit. And yeah, you're just constantly just fucking bullshit in this society. And that's why, again, when you watch the obesity in I'm going to do it. I'm just sick of it. I say this all the time. Let me see if I should do this before I get on here, but I'm going to do it now. Just going to take a second because I keep thinking about this and I always want to show you all. Oops. I wanted to show you this thing, of course. All right, this might not work right now. I know I'm not going to get what I want here, but because I got to put this, I'm not going to do it, but I got to show you the obesity map in America. It's absolutely jaw dropping. And you know what they say, like a picture's worth 1,000 words, but it's like when you see it, it's crazy, Georgina says, I love the F-bombs, keeping it real. I often channel Jim when I'm getting spun up about something and tell myself, calm the fuck down. Very good. Yeah. Again, I try not to celebrate them too much, but yes, luckily I live in a world where I can talk the way that I speak in the real world. And to be honest, if it is a turnoff, my whole program approach and personality would probably be a turnoff. So it's probably better that you get to know now than to be misled for a little while and find out that I'm a, foul mouthed shithead you don't like to begin with anyways. I'd rather you be able to know that right away. All right, everyone likes the F-bombs. Good. They're passionate. It's refreshing. Well, good. I'm glad. Kathy says, hello. Just wanted to say that I find your content so insightful and inspiring. Thanks from UK. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, UK. Shout out to UK. It is funny how similar UK and US are because I work with a ton of people from the UK and it's very interesting. Very similar situations. What's up, Divine? Thank you. Really good message. Thank you very much. All right, we get out, everyone. I got a lot of stuff to do here. I am going to get this. I'm one step closer today. I'm going to see how it shows up, actually. I'm going to search something real quick. It's not going to make any sense. I know this, but just want to see what it looks like on screen because it's kind of shiny. So I wonder if it's just going to reflect. This stuff is just like, I got to put this on a thing so I can show you because I can't just show you one picture. It doesn't make any difference. But when I go through the obesity map, when I go through the obesity map over time, it is just, it's crazy. Of course, I can't get a goddamn big picture of it. Let's see. whatever. I just want to see what it looks like on here. It's kind of shiny though, huh? Yeah. If I hold it close. All right. I know it doesn't mean anything to you all, but I'm going to get that set up. Maybe I'll print it out on a piece of paper, but I've been saying that for months now. Anyways, good morning, Nancy. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. But if you're not in my world, go click the link in my bio. Go get the hypnosis session I made for you. It's free. Go watch the video I made for you. It's free. Read the emails I send. They're free. I'm here to help you master your weight. Okay. And I do a lot of it for free. I'm here every day, Monday through Friday, usually around noon. So if you have any questions about weight, I'm happy to help you out. Get on here and ask them, and I will do my best to answer them in a way that'll help you. Make sure you subscribe to me, right? I put videos up all the time that could help you out. And yeah. And this is a podcast. So if you ever want to listen to this outside of the lives, program yourself then. You can go check that out, and it'll be there for you. All right, everyone, have a super duper weekend, and we'll talk soon. Bye.